That was former President Donald Trump following his criminal conviction related to falsifying business records in his hush money trial. He is at Trump Tower continuing to give a disorganized array of comments, and wide-ranging as they may be. Let's bring in our own Rick Newman, who's been sitting here next to me, tracking and keeping tabs on exactly what the former president is saying here.
So that is Trump's, for people who are watching, that is Trump's re-election pitch. I mean, I think this is now going to become a staple of his rallies where he goes out. I mean, this is going to be now the top of his list of grievances. But let's just go through, and we can't fact check everything he's saying there. There are a lot of misstatements there, but just a couple of things I'll address. He said nobody wanted to bring this case. It's old news. Even Alvin Bragg, the district attorney, didn't want to bring this case. Here's what actually happened. This information about the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels became public because journalists ferreted it out. It was first put out there by a Wall Street Journal article in 2018, I believe. And then more information came out. And so, and Michael Cohen actually went to jail in part because of his role in facilitating these payments. So now you have prosecutors in New York City, where this has now become public knowledge that this happened, and you're a prosecutor looking at something that is now publicly known that looks like a crime. It is your job to investigate that and charge it if it seems like a crime. So that's basically what Alvin Bragg did here. There is it does not involve the U.S. Justice Department, as Trump said. This is New York State and the city prosecutor in New York City. It is not connected with the Justice Department. President Biden has nothing to do with it. Just to go through a couple of other things here. Trump started by talking about immigration, which is the main thing he talked about when he announced his candidacy the first time in 2015, probably in the same area he's at now. He complains about the gag order he's under, but he's going to be talking about this forever and ever. He said Biden has made it so you can't buy a car in the United States. That's not true. Biden actually just put a 100% tariff on any Chinese electric vehicles. He said he's leading Biden by a lot. The polls actually show they're very close. He said that witnesses who testified on his behalf were literally crucified in the courtroom. That is not true. There were no dead bodies hanging from crosses in the courtroom. Something about a machete at a McDonald's. He said that whatever happened with regard to the crimes he's now been convicted of was a bookkeeper's fault. He said he wanted to testify in this trial, but he definitely did not want to testify in this trial because one of the first questions prosecutors would have asked was, did you have sex with Stormy Daniels on this night in 2006? And he would have to say yes or no. He can't fudge and say, well, it wasn't an affair. There's no way he was ever going to answer that question. Complaint about Alan Weisselberg being prosecuted. His former CFO, Weisselberg, did commit tax crimes. I mean, he just did, and a New York jury convicted him. And I guess I could go on with fact-checking, but the one last thing I would add is the idea that this is rigged because it took place in New York City is bogus. If you pick 12 people at random in New York City and you assume they are all going to be Trump haters, that is just wrong. I mean, there actually are Republicans in New York City. There are Trump fans in New York City. Supposedly, some of them are lined up outside Trump Tower. So Trump was convicted by a jury, which is the fairest process we have in the U.S. legal system. They found him guilty. He has a right to appeal. That will run its course. And the best bet is that when this is all over, Trump will continue to be a felon convicted of 34 crimes in New York City.